Science keeps delivering surprises, facts that feel like magic until we dig into the explanation. In this episode, we'll walk through 7 genuinely shocking science facts, unpack why they're true, what caveats matter, and 3 bonus items that expand the wonder. Each segment gives a short experiment or practical takeaway so you can test your curiosity at home or better judge claims online. Ready? Let's go. Kicking off our list is a fact that seems to defy the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Fact 1. Under certain specific conditions, hot water can actually freeze faster than cold water. It sounds impossible, but this isn't a myth. It's a real, observable scientific curiosity. This counterintuitive phenomenon is widely known as the Mpemba effect. It's named after Erasto Mpemba, a Tanzanian student who in the 1960s observed that his hot ice cream mixture froze before the cooler batches made by his classmates. His persistent questioning eventually led to a formal scientific paper on the subject. So what's happening here? Scientists have confirmed that in controlled experiments, warmer water can indeed reach 0 degrees Celsius and solidify completely before colder water does. But the why is surprisingly complex, with no single universally accepted answer. Instead, a combination of factors is likely at play. First, evaporation. Hot water evaporates more quickly, reducing the total volume of water that needs to freeze. Less mass means less energy to remove. Second, convection. Hot water has more vigorous convection currents, which helps transfer heat away from the water more efficiently. Third, dissolved gases. Cold water holds more dissolved gases, which can slightly alter its freezing properties. As hot water cools, it loses these gases, potentially raising its freezing point. Finally, the surrounding environment can play a role, as a hot container might melt a layer of frost on a freezer shelf, creating better thermal contact and faster cooling. The Mpemba effect is highly sensitive to container shape. Conditions. While you can test this at home with identical containers and careful measurement, don't be surprised if your results vary. It's a fascinating reminder that even simple phenomena can hide deep complexity. Fact 2. Diamonds and pencil lead are cousins. Both are forms of carbon, but their atomic arrangements are radically different. In diamond, each carbon atom forms 4 strong single bonds in a rigid tetrahedral lattice. That network makes diamond extraordinarily hard and optically brilliant. In graphite, the form of carbon used in pencils, carbon atoms bond in flat sheets with 3 bonds each and weaker interlayer forces. The difference in bond geometry and electron arrangements produces radically different material properties from the very same element. That's a powerful example of how structure controls properties in materials science. Fact 3. Sunlight takes minutes to reach us. When you look at the sun, you're not seeing it as it is this instant. You're seeing it as it was about 8 minutes earlier. Light produced in the solar core takes an extremely long time, hundreds of thousands of years, to random walk out through the dense interior. Once at the surface, a photon escapes and travels to Earth in roughly 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So the sunrise we watch is a history snapshot. Practical point: for fast-moving events on the sun, or distant stellar explosions, that light delay matters when coordinating observations across instruments. Fact 4. Your atoms are mostly empty space. Atoms are tiny systems with a compact nucleus made of protons and neutrons and an extended electron cloud. The nucleus is orders of magnitude smaller than the atom's overall diameter. If an atom were a stadium, the nucleus might be a grain of sand at the center, and the electrons would be fuzzy seats filling the space. That means most of the literal volume inside the atom contains very low density, but quantum forces and electromagnetic interactions between electron clouds make matter feel solid. The emptiness doesn't mean you can pass through things. The electromagnetic repulsion and quantum principles create the solidity we experience. Fact 5. The moon is slowly drifting away. Careful laser ranging experiments using reflectors left on the lunar surface by Apollo missions show that the moon recedes from Earth by about 3.8 centimeters per year. The driver is tidal interaction. Earth's rotation drags tidal bulges ahead of the moon, transferring angular momentum and pushing the moon outward while slowing Earth's rotation. That tiny yearly change has been happening for billions of years and, accumulated over geological timescales, affects the length of a day in the moon's orbit. Fact 6. You share surprising genetic similarity with very different organisms, like a banana. Claims like, you share 50% of your DNA with a banana, need careful unpacking. The truth is that a lot of the basic genetic machinery, genes for core cellular processes and many biochemical pathways, is conserved across life. When scientists say 50%, they refer to shared sequences or similar genes, not that half your genome is identical base for base with a fruit. The real lesson: life reuses successful molecular tools. Practical takeaway: when someone quotes a percent, ask what precisely they mean. Shared genes, shared base pairs, or functional similarity. Fact 7. It might sound counterintuitive, but your brain isn't just resting when you sleep. In fact, certain parts of your brain can become significantly more active during specific sleep stages than when you're awake and passively staring at a screen. This phenomenon is most pronounced during rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. While your body is largely paralyzed, your brain enters a state of high alert, showing intense electrical activity in regions responsible for emotional regulation and visual processing. This neurological flurry is the very engine that powers our dreams, creating the rich, cinematic worlds we experience each night. Neuroimaging studies confirm this remarkable activity. During REM sleep, the visual cortex, the limbic system, which is our emotional center, and various reward-related circuits all light up. The level of activation can sometimes surpass what's seen during passive waking activities like watching television. This specific pattern of heightened activity, combined with a less active prefrontal cortex, helps explain why our dreams can feel so incredibly vivid, emotionally charged, and often wonderfully bizarre. It's a unique neurochemical state that allows for creative and emotional exploration without real-world consequences. Now, this doesn't mean sleep is superior to wakefulness for tasks requiring logic and executive control, which are governed by the frontal lobe. But it powerfully demonstrates that sleep is far from a simple off state. Instead, it's a dynamic and essential period of complex internal processing, a different mode of consciousness with its own critical functions for our mental and emotional health. Now, to further stretch our understanding of the universe, let's explore 3 bonus facts that blur the lines between science fiction and reality. These quick dives into physics, quantum mechanics, and biology will extend the wonder we've cultivated so far, showcasing nature's incredible ingenuity across vastly different scales. Bonus 1. Water possesses a truly curious property known as its triple point. At a precise temperature of 0.01 degrees Celsius and a pressure of just 0.006 atmospheres, water can achieve a state of perfect equilibrium. In this delicate balance, solid ice, liquid water, and gaseous vapor all coexist simultaneously. Under these specific conditions, which can be replicated in a lab or found naturally in the thin atmosphere of Mars, you can witness the bizarre spectacle of water boiling and freezing at the very same moment. This phenomenon powerfully demonstrates that a substance's state isn't determined by heat alone. It's an intricate dance between both temperature and pressure. Bonus 2. Quantum tunneling. A concept that defies our everyday intuition. It allows subatomic particles to pass through energy barriers that, according to classical physics, they should not have enough energy to surmount. Imagine throwing a ball at a wall. Classically, it bounces back. But in the quantum realm, particles also behave like waves of probability. This wave-like nature means there's a small, but non-zero chance that the particle can simply appear on the other side of the barrier, as if it tunneled straight through. This isn't just a theoretical quirk, it's fundamental to our universe. Quantum tunneling explains how the sun generates energy through nuclear fusion, how radioactive elements undergo alpha decay, and it's the operational principle behind essential technologies like tunnel diodes and the scanning tunneling microscopes that let us visualize individual atoms. Bonus 3. Meet the tardigrade. These microscopic invertebrates, affectionately known as water bears or moss piglets, are champions of survival, capable of withstanding environmental extremes that would instantly annihilate most other known life forms. They can endure near total dehydration, boiling temperatures, freezing to just above absolute zero, the vacuum of outer space, and doses of radiation hundreds of times higher than what would be lethal to humans. Their secret lies in a remarkable suite of survival strategies, including the production of unique protective proteins, and a state of suspended animation called cryptobiosis. In this state, they retract their legs, lose over 95% of their body's water, and shut down their metabolism to almost undetectable levels. While this doesn't make them invincible, their astonishing adaptability offers profound insights into the absolute limits of life. Across every one of these facts there's a common thread. Apparent magic yields to mechanism, and mechanism invites experiments. For each fact I've mentioned a way you can test or a caveat to watch, and I'll summarize practical evidence-based experiments you can try safely. If you want to test the Mpemba effect at home, run a controlled trial. Equal volumes in identical containers, real thermometers, and a freezer that stays consistent. Record starting temperatures, check mass before and after, evaporation matters, and repeat multiple times. For the diamond versus graphite demonstration, a classroom-level materials demo can show different thermal conductivities or electrical conductance without risking extreme conditions. To feel how the moon's recession was measured, watch laser-ranging visualizations done by space agencies, or try a hands-on demonstration modeling tidal torque with rotational toys. A few production and credibility notes. When you present facts that sound unbelievable, always show the evidence, primary experiments, historical context, and reputable sources. Use short lower thirds to call out subtle caveats. Phrases like context matters, experiment dependent, or conserved versus identical help viewers avoid oversimplified takeaways. Suggested reading and sources to prepare show notes or on-screen citations, accessible summaries in Scientific American and Nature for the Mpemba literature, solid materials science introductions for carbon allotropes, NASA resources on solar photon travel time, and lunar laser ranging, popular neuroscience reviews on REM and dream state activation, and primary dendro or paleogenomics literature when discussing genetic similarity claims. If you want exact citations or DOI links for any fact, tell me which items and I'll fetch authoritative references. Finally, a quick production brief you can use during editing. Open with a fast montage of the 7 lines as text hooks, then treat each fact as a 90-110 second mini-segment with a concise explanation, a short visual or classroom demo idea, and the safe takeaway. Close with a brief synthesis. Why science surprises us. How to be curious responsibly, and one practical challenge. Test one fact this week and report the results in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more surprising science.